Today we're talking about using X-mount lenses that don't have an aperture ring. This is the second video of the series, and I want to start this one off by saying troubleshooting camera settings can be fun after the frustration passes, like using new lenses while learning a new system. And although the solution is just a few clicks of some buttons and spinning of some dials, learning how to switch a camera from aperture priority to manual can be a pain. In this case, switching to FujiFilm X-H1, a camera designed to be used manually but can be used with automatic settings, switching the camera from shutter priority to manual can be a whole ordeal when you don't know what you're doing, like me. So shutter priority is when you manually set the shutter speed and the camera sets the aperture. But the Rokinon 12mm autofocus edition doesn't have an aperture ring. The aperture was set to automatic right out of the box, and long story short, the footage came out looking like this. I then found, after diving into the settings, how I could assign the aperture to one of the front dials, which I'll show you now. This is how you switch an X-mount lens that doesn't have an aperture ring out of automatic aperture. You have to assign the front shutter dial to control both the aperture and the shutter speed. You can do this by assigning the aperture control to one of the custom setting buttons of the front dial, which has 3 custom mode slots. How you access the custom menu is by long pressing the front dial until the menu settings pop up on the LCD screen. You can choose between either SS for shutter speed, aperture, ISO, or none. And once you choose it, you push the front dial to cycle through the custom options. So you want to choose aperture and then scroll to your desired aperture with the front dial. Now, before we go any further, I want to tell you about Epidemic Sound, a service I've been using for a little over 8 months now. If you didn't know, the music is royalty free and you don't have to worry about copyright strikes. I think they have a great music selection. You can use the link in the description below or this link that's on the screen to get a 30-day free trial and a 10% discount for the first 12 months of a personal and commercial plan. Try it out and let me know what you think. Now, to recap, you want to assign the aperture to be controlled from one of the front dials. You do that by long pressing until the menu pops up, and once the menu pops up, then you assign an aperture to one of the custom menu modes. Then once you choose it, it'll go back to the main screen, and in order to cycle through the options, you press in the front dial, and when you press in the front dial, it'll show you on the screen either shutter speed, aperture, ISO, whatever you assign to that front dial, and then that's how you control it. And once you're on that option, you just spin the wheel from left to right to either increase the aperture or lower the aperture. And those are some steps you can use for future reference when using an X-mount lens that doesn't have an aperture ring. And now I'm going to delve deeper into these menus and finish setting up this camera for this vlogging series. Thanks for joining. Stay awesome.